Hey guys, Lola here from Healthy Credit Habits, and today we are going to talk about credit scores. You know, that three-digit number that can dictate whether or not one gets approved or denied for a car loan, purchasing a home, or even getting hired because your credit score is part of the hiring decision or employment process. Now, before we dive right in, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss another video from Healthy Credit Habits. Let's break it down. Credit scores. Our credit scores are based on 5 factors. The first one being payment history, which accounts for 35% of our credit score. Utilization, which is 30%. Length of credit, which is 15%. New credit, which is 10%, and credit mix, which is 10%. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Payment history. Now, 192.5 points that you see at the top here is based on the lowest FICO score you can have, which is 300, to the highest credit score, which is an 850. The delta between the two is 550 points. 35% of that 550 equates to 192.5, which is a big chunk of your credit score that is dependent upon your payment history. This is why we tell our clients, please make sure you are on time with your bills, that you do not incur any new late bills, because those new lates will have a significant impact on your credit score as you're trying to restore your score at the same time. Now, when you look at payment history, there are 3 factors that really tie into that. The first one being, how long ago was the problem? The more recent it is, the greater the impact. How often are the late payments happening? The more frequently it happens, it can signal that there's an established pattern of not being able to pay on time consistently, which makes it harder to challenge those late payments on your credit report when you're looking to improve your credit score. And lastly, how serious was the problem? Now, again, a 30-day late isn't as severe as a 60, or a 60 isn't as severe as a 90, 120, 150. The longer you wait to bring a negative or a late account current, the greater the impact, which means the negative points that are incurring against your credit score keep compounding month after month after month, which is why payment history is so important. Next up is utilization. That accounts for 165 points towards your overall credit score. And lenders use this to measure basically how much money are you really spending against what they have given you access to in credit. Now, rule of thumb is generally not to exceed 30% of your available credit limit, which is really for every $1,000. You don't spend more than $300. However, we know that's not the case. So it's always safer to be a little more cautious and perhaps stick between 20, maybe 25% to buffer yourself just from edging over that 30% mark, which can signal to lenders, hey, we need to take a more focused approach in looking at this person's credit access. Maybe we need to reduce it if they feel as if they are concerned that maybe your payment history is a little sketchy and you're not necessarily sticking below that 30% threshold. Length of credit. That's 82 points towards your overall credit score. And basically, when it comes to your credit age, lenders look at the age of your oldest account and the average age of all of your accounts. So it's individual and aggregate, which means basically we always tell clients, do not close any accounts that you've had the longest. And that's usually what most people do because they don't know. Usually depending on the card issuer, usually anywhere between 6 to 9, 12 months, you still have an opportunity to call them and ask that that account be reopened. But again, it depends on who the actual creditor is. But many lenders, they actually won't close your file permanently. So you do have an opportunity to call them back and actually request that it be reopened, especially if the account was closed on good terms, meaning per the request of the account holder. New credit. That accounts for 55 points towards your overall credit score. And that's really the length of time that has lapsed since you've applied for a new account, or the length of time that has lapsed since you've opened a new account. So there's one thing to apply for an account and not get approved, and there's another thing to apply and get approved. They're looked at distinctively and also holistically. So you want to be mindful not to exceed no more than 1 to 3 accounts per year. And oftentimes you find that sometimes individuals may have applied for multiple lines of credit within a month. And each hard credit inquiry, meaning you've actively sought out access to new lines of credit, there is a hit to your credit score in doing so. So depending on how strong your score is, you may be able to buffer the points that would be reduced by applying for a new account, but you want to be mindful of that, just because that also signals to lenders, hey, this person could be trying to access additional lines of credit because they've maxed out what they've had. The situation really just depends on what's going on that particular credit profile. Credit mix. Now, lenders like to see a nice mix of installment, revolving, and open accounts. Installments are those accounts where you have a fixed amount due every month. It's predictable. It doesn't change for the most part. And those are things like a mortgage or a car note. Student loans, for example, those are installment payments that have been broken up, fixed amount for a certain period in time. Revolving accounts are your credit cards, where the amount may vary from month to month. It really depends on what your pattern of spending has been, and that'll dictate how much you owe for that particular billing cycle. And open accounts are those accounts where there is no preset spending limit. So you do have some creditors that will issue lines of credit where there is no limit, knowing that the individual has the age and the maturity in credit to manage those type of accounts. And then also some other types of accounts that fall into this arena are like utility accounts, because they necessarily can't put a credit limit on opening a water bill or Pepco bill or something like that. They kind of base it on whatever your plan is and your usage. Now, I hope that you found this information helpful. I hope that you found it insightful to give you a little more insight into where exactly your credit score could be impacted, or where exactly you can continue doing a great job and keep up what you're doing already. If you already have a strong credit score, kudos to you. Definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from Healthy Credit Habits. And remember, with healthy credit, life is less expensive. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.